This meeting is being recorded, everybody. This meeting is being recorded. So let's see. Now, two windows here. One window for Meta. Pull this out. Okay, that big. Let's go to my page. And photos to do better. Okay, now to these will be deleted. So, okay, there you go. Okay. All right. Let's try it here. Let's try it. Let's give it a whirl. We are preparing to go live, friends. Oh, there we go. There we go. There we go. There we go. Let's make sure. Okay. Oh, wait. Okay. Excited to be live. I think we are there here. So let me just make sure I can see us on the Facebook feed for our Sales Tuesday live. I'm Dr. Erika Pryor, super excited to be with you on another Tuesday. Trying to figure out, what is the bestest time to offer these things. So today we are on 10:30. I mean, I love Sales Tuesdays at 10:30, so that's probably where we'll sit. It's just hard Tuesdays also because we do most of our training like sessions and workshops on Tuesdays, but we're going to go with it, trying to figure out exactly what the Sales Tuesdays is going to be. So, thank you to everyone who is just riding with me and along on this journey. People know that, or some people may know, my previous life as a podcaster back in the olden days of podcasting before it was cool and everybody was doing it like at your home or whatnot. And so that was Digital 411, where we talked a lot about social media and digital media marketing, which was really, really fun and a great, sales strategy. So I then skipped to last year and started a new podcast called Speaking with Intention, but could not kind of like figure out exactly how it needed to be incorporated into my sales process and sales cycle, because I didn't just want to have a podcast to have a podcast. I wanted it to be a part of a larger platform, and then also thinking about how to create a community around it. So we did a couple episodes, but I never really figured out exactly how to fit it in. Now, fast forward, we have actually started building out the Speaking with Intention training program and platform. So I anticipate that Speaking with Intention will probably pick that up sometime later in the year. But since we have launched Smashing Your Sales Goals, which is our signature sales training, coaching, and technical support program, really wanted to kind of focus in on sales and creating another place and space where we could talk about sales. So, Sales Tuesdays is the conversations about sales topics. It's the case studies, it's the resources, it's the ask me anythings, it's the deep dive into different revenue streams. It's all of that conversation about sales, but obviously we do sales training. So if you want to see sales training, then Smashing Your Sales Goals, and we have a YouTube channel there where we'll be posting weekly micro trainings on some different sales topics. And so by trainings, I mean we're, explaining something, telling you how to do it, providing some examples, and giving you some insights there, versus here where we will have conversations and discussions about sales topics, some of them also being featured guest discussions as well. So I'm really excited to bring all of that to you. We are going to be recording these lives. So if you miss it, I just saw a message that came up on Meta saying that now your live videos will only remain on your profile for 30 days. So if you are trying to see a live that is past 30 days, then you'll want to go and check out the YouTube channel, which is Sales Tuesdays, where you'll be able to catch the recording. That's also where we'll post our pre recorded podcasts where we talk with featured guests about various sales topics as well. And so I'm really excited because the first conversation that we'll have with our featured guest is Brad Griffith of Buckeye Innovation. And all this month, we are talking about meeting and understanding customer needs. So he and I had a really relevant conversation about supporting customer needs, exploring customer needs, doing the follow up in the conversations. So that recording will come out later on this month. I think the fourth Tuesday of this month. This Tuesday, today, we are doing a real time case study with Target. Target is getting more and more interesting by the day. So I really wanted to take some time and discuss the Target situation, discuss it from a sales perspective, and look at some of the different nuances of the situation as it continues to unfold. So, as I said, really excited about launching Sales Tuesdays, and just want to also create a space where I can give you insights on what it is that I'm doing and how my journey is going. I know that there's lots that people can learn just hearing how other people are operating and moving in this space. So, one of my goals of starting this live series or the podcast and kind of figuring out how to bring it all together is first create more content. If you're any kind of business, you really have to be creating content. And, we hear that all the time, like, oh, we got to be creating content. Oh, we need to be, like getting blog articles. Oh, you need to be on social media on a regular basis. Like, oh, you need to be doing all these things. And I am not suggesting anything otherwise. In fact, like, you really want to be generating the content on a fairly regular and consistent basis, and it can be really challenging. So that's why I say also just figuring out like how this podcast was going to live within the constellation of sales related activities that I'm already doing was something that I kind of like needed to do a deep dive and figure out, so that I would in fact have some, longevity in the thing, right? Like, it kind of stinks to start a pod and then never really fully live into it or give it like the full chance that it can. So that was definitely the first reason why I decided to start this. The second reason, in terms of creating more content, was just also looking at different ways to monetize my content, and not doing just content to create content, but content that is valuable, content that actually attracts different customers, hopefully specifically, and then also content that can be monetized as content. So really excited to kind of be on that journey. I have not really monetize my content like from a social channel perspective since I've been generating content and been like doing this work. So I know that there's a lot of opportunity. You have to start somewhere. So we are starting, like I said, with a YouTube channel that is going to be one of the main places and spaces where we look to monetize the content and see what kind of growth opportunity there is. Right now, we're starting at 0, so we have no place to go but up. So I love those odds, and I love the opportunity to kind of try new things out and see what happens, see what works, and go from there. So I do hope that you will join us on the YouTube channel and that you'll subscribe. And we will be launching a probably a Facebook group later on this year. So I hope that if Sales Tuesdays and the regular Tuesday lives are something that you enjoy and appreciate, and you like the pre recorded shows, that you will also join us in the group and become a part of the community, because that was really the other kind of last goal and purpose of creating Sales Tuesdays Live, was to create a community where people could dig in and talk about sales related issues in a meaningful way, hear about sales related issues that are close to near and dear trends, revenue streams, like, and have those conversations and hear how other people are accomplishing some of those goals. So really excited to be here and to be doing that, and to be doing our initial case study on Target, because Target is getting interesting. And every day there seems to be a new, not every day, I won't say every day, but I'll say like every couple weeks since the beginning of 2025, Target has been getting more and more interesting. And so I'm going to give you a kind of overview, because there have been a lot of things, like some very clear checkpoints and instances to make sure people are aware of. And then we're going to talk a little bit, again, this month we're talking about your understanding your customer needs. And Target is a great case study to kind of think about what it means to understand who your customers are and who it is that you're serving with your products and services. So, here's a little bit of background. Let's go ahead and get into it. So, USA Today and many other news outlets have been reporting on Target and what has been happening with Target for a number of months now. So, in January, many of you probably recall Target and many other large corporations actually rolling back their DEI initiative. So around January 24th, Target was reported to be rolling back their DEI initiatives in response to the changing landscape. And not the only ones. Walmart, Amazon, Meta, they all too rolled back their DEI policies in different ways. And as we know, President Donald Trump directing federal agencies to terminate DEI programs and urged private companies to end illegal diversity, equity, and inclusion discrimination and preferences. So that was the scene in January, as many people were aware. And according to Target's 2023 Workforce Diversity Report, they had about 56% women employees, or folks that identified as women, and then 43% of employees identified as male over male. And the racial and ethnic distribution was similarly balanced, with about 56% of employees being people of color and about 43% being white. So Target had a pretty kind of at least racially and gendered diverse workforce. It had some DEI initiatives that they really went in hard on following George Floyd in 2020. And those initiatives were, I want to say, scheduled to continue forward through the end of 2025. However, something that I kind of found out doing my research that I wasn't aware of was that starting around 2023, Target began pulling back on some of its LGBTQ themed merchandise from its stores, citing increased confrontations between shoppers and employees, and even some instances, employees fearing for their life based on some of the confrontations that they had with shoppers in and around LGBTQ themed merchandise. In addition, it sounded like the merchandise was being destroyed, thrown on floors, and whatnot. So we saw, or didn't see, a bit of the premature rollback around 2023 around LGBTQ. Interesting. So then fast forward to February of 2025, and Reuters, as well as many other news outlets, report that Target is now being sued for allegedly concealing the risks of its diversity and social initiatives, leading to a backlash that has caused customers to flee and their stock prices to fall. So, this is gets very interesting. So we know that there was an initial backlash in January, and Target was seeing their stock prices and their sales go south. And then, and to add insult to injury, shareholders with the city of Riviera Beach Police Pension Fund in Florida alleged that Target defrauded them, and said that they had inflated prices, and they were, going to roll back these DEI initiatives, but that they should not expect there to be the impact that there was. So these funds that have invested in Target, right? The pension fund has invested in Target. They have been very upset because they have seen their funds being to going down. They have seen less revenue, interest, whatever it is that gets accrued from that. And they're saying that Target even concealed what the impact would be. And they knew, and they had an idea of what the impact might be following some of those March 2023, or excuse me, May 2023 incidences around LGBTQ merchandise. And so there had already been kind of like a falling of stock prices. It says from November 2024, Target's share price fell 22%, which came out to about 15.7 billion in market value. That's a lot of money. We can understand why the shareholders would feel upset at seeing those kinds of
Mhm.
losses. Now we get to the even more interesting part. If you have not been paying attention, last week, the AP reported that the 40-day boycott of Target that calls for supporters to continue, in some instances, giving up shopping at the company's stores, but now directed towards Lent, kicked off last week. And Target is waiting to see what happens, right? So the Reverend Jamal Bryant, who is a senior pastor at the New Birth Missionary Baptist Church near Atlanta, organized the Target Fast that began on Wednesday, the first day of Lent last week, along with other faith and civil rights leaders. There is even a website. If you have not heard of it yet, you can go to, I think it's called targetfast.com. The other interesting thing that is coming out of this is frequently we see Target saying, Walmart has not experienced the same level of fall in their stock prices and haven't seen the same level of boycotts in terms of customers. So that was one of the reasons why Target didn't feel that this was going to impact them. Rolling back these DEI policies was going to impact them in the ways that it did, because it is a rival of Walmart, and Walmart had not been experiencing some of the same types of backlash. So I think that, that is also interesting. But this current boycott that is now ongoing, called for between now and the end of Lent, which I think is sometime in April, has a lot of people moving and shaking and doing things. And even the co-founders' daughters, I suppose, of Target have expressed shock and alarm. Target has seen many protests outside of their headquarters in Minneapolis. And again, as we've said, they have seen like a significant decrease in shopper behavior and consumer engagement, and have seen quite a bit of backlash. And so this situation can't be, more interesting and more relevant from a brand loyalty perspective, from a understanding your customer needs perspective, and then just even understanding who your customers are. So those are kind of like the 3 points that really stuck out for me. Now, brand loyalty. Here is where Target really kind of screwed the pooch, I will say, and that they overestimated the brand loyalty from its diverse customer market and demographics. They underestimated the loyalty, perhaps, of the allies of those individuals and families and whatnot. So they really underestimated, like, what they were bringing to the market. And I'm sure people have seen, different LinkedIn videos and Instagram videos and other people like commentating on the Target situation. But it can't be, undersold, that knowing who your customers are and understanding why they are loyal to your brand is of vital importance, regardless of the size of your business, regardless of the type of your business. And so in this particular instance, I think Target both did not understand like who their actual customers were, and didn't understand why their customers chose to be loyal to Target, perhaps over or even in addition to, say, Walmart. I think also, in terms of understanding who your customers are, I would agree that there are probably customers who are both Walmart and Target shoppers. I have certainly been a Walmart and or a Target shopper, gone to both in the same day, in fact, right? Many of us have, up until this point. But I think what is kind of interesting to know in this particular situation is that the customers of Walmart and the customers of Target are in fact not the same. Like, there, I would say, are some very key differentials between Walmart customers and Target customers. I would say the folks that shop at Target, for what they shop at Target, is going to be very different than for what they would shop for at Walmart. I think we know that frequently the demographics around socioeconomic status are frequently different when it comes to Walmart versus Target. And something that I thought was really interesting that somebody threw out in one of the Instagram videos that I was watching recently was that there's nothing at Target That is absolutely necessary. There is nothing at Target that is absolutely necessary, right? And we have also, like I didn't mention, but we have also seen with the situation, Costco, right? And we've seen Costco doubling down on their DEI initiatives, and we've seen them sort of going in and leaning in hard. And I think that has also been a challenge for Target, because Costco officially gave Target's fleeing customers or boycotting customers a place to go. And Costco, like Target, there's absolutely nothing at Costco you can't get anywhere else, right? But when it comes to brand loyalty and when it comes to understanding your customers, Costco got the assignment, Costco got the message, Target missed the assignment, Target missed the message on that. So I think that understanding who your customers actually are, why they actually are loyal to you, and then also understanding the emotional purchase triggers that many people go through during the course of a buying process. So it's not just the emotions that go along with, whatever it is that people are going to purchase, and the money mindset that they might have around it, especially depending on the price, some of the psychological factors that can go into that. But it's also around the emotions that people attach to their dollars. And they believe, I mean, we couldn't be in a more corporate, society where your dollars mean something and people are saying, I will vote essentially with my dollars. And so I think Target really missed the mark in understanding some of the emotional triggers that go behind their customers purchasing incentives and why people are buying, and what it is that they're buying. Especially, I mean, I don't want to say like Target is a luxury category because it's certainly not a luxury category. But on the same token, again, like what you're getting at Target, you can get anywhere. In many instances, the pricing may not necessarily be as good as some other places that you might consider, that you might frequent. But between those emotional triggers and that brand loyalty, like that's where that customer might continue to go. And we do know, like the stats tell us, people will pay more based on their emotional connection to a product and service, based on the product or service aligning with their values and with their needs. And so, there's a lot of people who are understanding and seeing that Target's values don't line up with their values, and therefore they are voting with their dollar. And we are now in the midst of the next 40 days, and what is going to happen to Target. So I am going to be keeping a close finger on this situation. I continue to watch it because it is, again, is very interesting. I don't know what the topic of the month will be by the time we circle back to it, but we'll definitely kind of dig in again and see where is Target 40 days after, or like 40 days into the boycott. What is happening if we saw their stock prices and we saw like a mass kind of exodus of consumers in January, and then before that in 2023, based on LBGTQ rollback, now we have DEI rollback. So this nationwide boycott is certainly one that could 110% bring Target to their knees. Now, the interesting thing also, as I was like looking through this, is that Target had planned their DEI initiatives for like an initial 5 years. So it looked like they were going to be kind of running some of these campaigns, like doing the investments in, up to, I think they said 500 brands they wanted to work with, and, diversifying not just with products and services on the shelves, but also from the B2B perspective and working with more businesses that are diverse in different ways as service providers. And so it kind of begs the question to me, like, you didn't want to hold out for a whole nother year. Like, you only had one more year. You could have said, okay, this is what our DEI initiatives like netted out to. This is what we can see as like the total. This was our economic contribution. Like, why pull back your DEI initiatives when you've literally got about 11 more months of rolling with them? The other question that I have for Target is, why make such a public statement about your rollback of the initiatives? Like, if you were going to do it and you said, we believe that this is economically viable for the business, we believe that the impact will not be experienced or felt in the ways that it may have been previously. So, why make a big public announcement about it and then keep talking about it? Like, why? Why not just do like a lot of companies do and just quietly roll that back? So it feels like Target intentionally put a target on themselves for customers and consumers to come to understand that their investment in DEI, although some ways shallow and superficial, like yes, 2 billion sounds like a lot, but when we look at sort of the investment of VC dollars into, black or brown owned businesses or women owned businesses, those big numbers, turn into drops in the bucket pretty quickly. So why make such a big public announcement and continue to discuss it over and over again? I think that's interesting. Like, who on the marketing team on that? I don't know. Who is imagining the storytelling and then actually coming to fruition with that? I don't know. I have no idea, but I think those are definitely some missteps in this situation, in addition to underestimating who your customers were and underestimating like what brand loyalty means and the emotional connections that people will have with the brands, which is what you want. You want people to have emotional connections with your brands, but underestimating that. So I think the other thing is, that storytelling around this instance and the timing and the timeline around this instance, right? It all just begs like we did something and we did it because it was what we thought we were supposed to be doing, even though it was beneficial, we decided to stop doing it. Like, so, Target, you've kind of laid in that bed. So, like I said, I'm interested to see what happens between now and the end of Lent. I think it's going to be a very, very interesting end of quarter for Target as they move through 2025. So I want to tell you what's next. Next time we are together, we are doing an Ask Me Anything. So I'm really excited. We're going to be taking your sales related questions, challenges, and opportunities and talking through some of those and hopefully helping you strategize. And then the last Tuesday this month, we will be doing a podcast release. And our conversation is with Brad Griffith of Buckeye Innovation. We're going to be talking again about understanding and qualifying customer needs. And we'll kind of do a preview and I'll pull out some juicy nuggets that came out of that conversation with Brad that I would love to hear your feedback on as well. So I want to make sure that again, we are on YouTube. So if you are looking for this, you're looking for other lives that we are doing on Tuesdays and can't find them on my Facebook page, you can mosey on over to the YouTube channel, which is Sales Tuesdays, and catch the lives there as well as the recording. And if you are looking for sales training or how to's, smashing your sales goals on YouTube is where we have trainings and how to's and other types of instructional and tutorial materials on and around sales. So feel free to join us there and subscribe in both places. We would love to have you a part of the Sales Tuesdays community. My name is Dr. Erika Pryor. It has been a pleasure to be here with you today and to chat about this situation with Target. Looking forward to the next time we are together with the Ask Me Anything. So if you have any questions, feel free to, send those to me on Messenger or add them to one of the videos or DM me or whatnot. Can't wait to take your questions and talk a little bit more on some sales challenges and opportunities. So thanks for joining me on this episode of Sales Tuesdays. We will see you next time.